This one here, that's a little harder because it actually has some trinomials within it. So these are the harder ones. So the first thing you always do, it asks us to simplify state restrictions, and you can see it's this fraction minus this fraction. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to keep calm, and you're going to factor things. Well, the top of this is already factored, x minus 3. The top of this one's already factored, x minus 2. So I'm going to factor the bottoms of both of those things. These are just simple trinomials. Again, they can be complex trinomials. Okay, I've made it easier for the lesson, but in your homework you'll have a whole bunch of complex trinomials, difference of squares, and things like that. So over here, the product of this thing is negative 48. The sum of this thing is 2. So two integers that multiply to negative 48 add to 2 are negative 6 and 8. So that means this will be x minus 6 and x plus 8. The second one is x squared minus x minus 30. So the product of that thing is negative 30. The sum of that thing is negative 1. So two integers that multiply to negative 30 add to negative 1 are negative 6 and 5. So this means this will be x minus 6 and x plus 5. So I factored those two things. Now, the second step always is state restrictions. So over here, I'll state my restrictions. Stating the restrictions. Again, all of the denominators cannot equal 0. So that x minus 6, that cannot equal 0. That means x cannot equal positive 6. Now again, some of you can just look at this and say x cannot equal positive 6. That second one, x cannot equal negative 8. That next one, x cannot equal positive 6. I don't have to restate that. X cannot equal negative 5. If you're able to do that, instead of rewriting the factors cannot equal 0, then that's perfectly fine. Okay, remember this is a minus sign in the middle. And now I have to come up with the lowest common denominator between these two fractions. Now if I come up with the lowest common denominator between these two fractions, just notice they already have the x minus 6 in common. What's not the same is x plus 8 and x plus 5. So the lowest common denominator, I know that would be just multiply everything together. So you have 4 things. But I actually don't have to do this twice. So the lowest common denominator is actually going to be x minus 6 times x plus 8 times x plus 5. Because I can make this look like this very easy, right? This, all I have to do is multiply by x minus 5. So I just got to make sure I do the same to the top. So the bottom of this one will also be the same, x minus 6, x plus 8, and x plus 5. Again, I can make this look like this because all I did was multiply this by x plus 8. So I just got to make sure I do the same to the top. Okay? So don't do the x minus 6 twice. So do this. This will be x plus 5 times x minus 3. And doing this one, this will be x minus 2 times x plus 8. And now I can subtract the 2. So subtracting the 2 here, I'm just going to roll this down a little bit. So subtracting the 2 here, again, you keep the denominator the same, which is x minus 6 times x plus 8 times x plus 5. Keep the denominator the same, just write it once, and subtract the numerator. So this will be x plus 5 times x minus 3, subtract x minus 2 times x plus 8. And now you have to be careful with the negative sign here, because that will make a difference. So again, rewriting all over x minus 6, x plus 8, and then x plus 5. I will multiply and expand those binomials. So multiplying this all out, I have x squared minus 3x, multiplying the 5 out, plus 5x minus 15. And over here, I have everything in here times everything in here. I have x squared plus 8x, and then negative 2x minus 16. I'm going to erase some of the stuff that I did here because I didn't have enough room. now, just rewrite that over here, nice and big. So this is all over x minus 6 times x plus 8 times x plus 5. And again, this one is just x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15 minus, and in this bracket you have x squared plus 8x minus 2x minus 16. That's a little clearer for you. And now, if I actually do this properly, I can get rid of the brackets over here, because getting rid of the brackets, nothing is affecting this first set of brackets here. So this will be x plus 8, x plus 5, and getting rid of this bracket will just be x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15. And now, be careful here, because now this negative affects everything in there. And that's where you'll get caught. Don't get caught there. That'll be negative x squared minus positive 8x is negative 8x. And then minus negative 2 is positive 2x. And minus negative 16 is positive 16. And now, I can write down my final answer. Write down my final answer here, and this is all going to be all over x minus 6 times x plus 8 times x plus 5, and I'm going to add and subtract all the like terms. Well, x squared minus x squared is gone. It's just 0. Then I have negative 3x plus 5x, which is 2x, minus 8x, which is negative 6x, plus 2x, which is negative 4x, right? Negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2 minus 8, negative 6, plus 2, negative 4x. And then I have negative 15 plus 16, which is positive 1. This is my final answer. So as long as you keep cool and collected, come up with the lowest common denominator. After you come up with the lowest common denominator, add the two fractions together by writing it over the common denominator and adding the tops or subtracting the tops. Expand out the tops and be careful with the negative signs. Collect like terms, and your final answer will always be this. You'll never be able to cancel things out at the end if you picked a lowest common denominator, and as long as there was no simplification that you could have done right from the start. Okay? And so you got to get to be an expert at factoring, and that will help you when you go to add and subtract by coming up with common denominators.